Hello everyone, I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and you are listening to the Super Cool Podcast. This is episode number 17. Our featured artists of the week, they are Fifth and SYC out of Niles, Michigan, just over the border from where I live in Indiana. Great group of guys. I love doing our in-person interview. One of my very few in-person interviews I've got to do during this whole pandemic, but I am very glad we were able to set that up. I have to emphasize this, kind of a lot of people get the spelling wrong of Fifth and SYC, but the SYC is spelled SYC. It comes from the street corners of Fifth and Sycamore in Niles, Michigan. Just a little background for everyone. And they released their debut album in 2018, and I have it in my car. It's actually signed by all the band members. I got that back at the Rock and Pantry show in June. I really dig the whole hard rock sound and everything they got going on. I think the riffs are killer, and it's just a fresh take on hard rock music. And I'm going to dive right in, and we're going to talk about the cover art. I know we kind of talked about this during our in-person interview, but I like the street signs. You know, it reflects where the name came from of a street corner. I like the green, the black and green. Looks sick. And I like the inside covers. I usually don't talk about them because there's usually not much going on, but they have two very nice pictures of them. It looks very professional. Like, that's a big thing that I'm probably going to say about this album. It sounds professional, and the cover art looks very professional. And I love that street corner stuff. It's a great image, and plus it talks about the background of where the name came from. So now, there's 7 songs. It is about 26 minutes, so technically, it is an album length, but really it's more like an EP. But 7 songs is still a lot in that 26 minutes. But we're going to start with my favorite song. That is the first song, and it is Lights Out. The guitar riff, about the first 30 seconds, really starts off kind of just rock, you know, a nice rock sound. And then it kind of cranks up right after that 30-second mark. Then it cranks up to a real hard rocker, and then you really start getting into this song, and especially like Lights Out and Life Without Parole. Holding yourself back from fighting someone. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this song. You know, my fists are shaking, and I really want to punch this person, you know, knock their lights out, but then it's life without parole, because, you know, I got into a fight with somebody and, you know, might have killed them or something like that. But I really like the whole life without parole thing, because it's kind of consequences if you really beat someone up. So I thought that was really cool, and there's a great solo around the 2:15 mark. What I really dug about this is that it started kind of the same as the way it ended. So it started more like a chill rock, and then it finished the way it sounded at the beginning. After those first 30 seconds, then they just go nuts. There's a great guitar riff and killer guitar solo. My favorite Fifth and SYC song right now. Plus, I just like the image of shaking my fist, try and not punch this person out. Great image, great lyrics, and just great music, great combination of everything they got going on. If I had to showcase one song by Fifth and SYC, I would say it would be this one, because it is just spot on. And again, it sounds very professional. They put a lot of effort into making this album sound very good, and that's a big compliment for them. And since they're an independent band, they have to pay for all this stuff. And for them to get this highest quality as they can, you know, they obviously put up the money for it, and they delivered on it as well. And I want to highlight the third song. It is Stoned, and it's another hard rocking song, and it sounds different and unique. I might say hard rocking a lot, but that's kind of just very generic of what the song is. But all of their songs sound very different and very unique. They put effort to come up with different guitar riffs and different lyrics, that it doesn't just all sound the same. And I really like the tagline, Stoned to the Bone. I thought that I got a good laugh out of that. Just the words, the play on words they got going on there. Don't know what this means. They're talking about weed, obviously. That is what they're talking about with Stoned. But this is a solid hard rocking song. The guitar is really unrelenting during this whole song. It just kind of just gives it to you unapologetic, just straight rocking. I really love it. There's a nice guitar solo around the 3-minute mark. And the vocals, I gotta really highlight the vocals on Stone. This is why I kind of want to highlight this song, is because they're very intense throughout the whole song. Like, Mason gives it his all. There's like screaming and yelling throughout the whole song, and he just kills it just during all the different vocal changes, and from the yelling to the screaming to the singing. He does it all very well. Very talented vocalist, and Stone is a very good song to showcase his vocals. More solid guitar work. JD is a fantastic lead guitarist. Mason does a great job on guitar, and just the combination of those two guitars really makes some unique sounding music. I'm going to talk about the fourth song, which is Betrayed. This is probably one of the more mellow songs, I would say, but it's still a rock song. Don't get me wrong when I say mellow. It's just not as hard rocking as the rest of the songs. It's still a rock song, though. Open my arms. You walked out the door, feel betrayed. Some very relatable lyrics here. Like, you help someone out, and then they just leave you. Like, they're gone from your life completely. They're just like, I'm done. And I like the lyrics, I can't control you, meaning I'm not going to ask or beg you to stay. You can do whatever you want. Like, if you want to leave, go for it. And I think that's very mature lyrics, instead of like saying, oh, you owe me so much because I helped you out. They just said, pretty much, it sucks that you left, but I'm not going to beg you to stay. You can't force people to stay in a situation that they're not going to give their all, especially in any kind of relationship, whether that be a romantic or friendship or business. If the other person does not want to stay in this relationship, then it's not going to work. You both have to give it your all. And so if the person wants to leave, there's really not much you can do about it. It's their decision. They have to live with it. And I really like the end of the song. Mason has a very long scream to finish the song. It kind of just goes well. I think, pent-up frustration with everything going on, so a very long scream to end this song. It's a very relatable song. All the kind of relationships people are in doesn't have to be any certain ones. We're all in different relationships with different people, just depending on the person. And if the other person wants to leave, you just gotta let them leave and live your best life. And I just want to give a quick shout to Wildfire, because this was unexpected. Especially, I was not expecting them to include some samples, sound like a news story going on, talking about an actual wildfire. I thought that was very cool. I do like when bands incorporate samples of different kinds of media. I know like White Zombie did that a lot throughout their run, and I thought that was really cool. So to bring that back, especially with rock music, I know other forms of music include more samples, but to hear a song with a media sample like that, I thought that was really cool and very unexpected. The last song I want to highlight is the seventh song, the last song on the album, and the song is It's All the Same. Again, a ruthless guitar riff on this song really gives it to you from pretty much the first second. The guitar is heavy and loud. And the vocals are really, in your face about everything going on. Can't you see we're all the same on the inside? We all look the same on the inside. Doesn't really matter what we look like on the outside. We're all the same for this last song. Fifth and Sixth, they just go nuts on this song. It's just unrelenting music, hard-hitting, hard rock music. And my takeaway from this song is, shouldn't base your opinions on just how people look. You should also look at other aspects of them, their character and their actions and stuff like that. So that's kind of my takeaway from listening to It's All the Same. And it slows down to a nice instrumental that starts for the last about 30 seconds. It's a nice melodic way to end the song, with the vocals and the guitar, and some great instrumental. It was probably about 30 or so seconds, I think, and it was just the band jamming, and it just sounded so real. They blend very well together, just the whole band with all the instruments. I really did this whole album. I don't think they have any physical copies anymore right now, because I think they sold out from their last show at Rainbow Farms over Labor Day weekend. I think they sold all their merch out, and that's incredible. It was a great show for them. Unfortunately, I was not able to make that show, but just looking at the photos of everything, I got some going on the slideshow right now. It looked like a very fun show. And Fifth and Sixth, I've only got to see them once. That was at Rock the Pantry in June. And it was really cool. Got to do a nice intro for them. And they rocked the house. Opening band coming in at 2:30 in the PM. For them to do that and to rock the house, it was an incredible sight. So please check out and support Fifth and Sixth. Stream this on YouTube. That's what I've been doing all this week. And if you're looking for some new hard rock music that you haven't listened to before, please check out my friends Fifth and Sixth out of Niles, Michigan. Great time doing an interview with them. One of my very few in-person interviews for this year. And it was just cool just hearing about everything that they had going on. It was a very in-depth interview. It's about 45 minutes. It was just so cool to actually talk to them in person and just hear how the band got started, where the name came from, their experience with Sick Fest and Rainbow Farms. It was incredible. And I really want to thank everyone at Fifth and Sixth, Mason, Brendan, Seth, JD, and Joe. Great group of guys. I'm really looking forward to whenever they release some more new music in 2021. I'm eager to hear it. So please, one more time, check out, stream, support, and give a like to their Facebook page to stay up on all their information they got going on with Fifth and Sixth. And thank you everyone for listening to the Super Cool Podcast. I am your host, as always, the spirit of Super Cool Radio himself, Matthew Thomas, and I will see you in the next podcast.